It was a raw day for the state-run regime media, better known as Fox. Donald Trump scheme to take over the Washington D.C. police completely imploded right alongside his plan to meet with Vladimir Putin in Alaska, a place he reportedly referred to as Russia during yesterday's press conference in an attempt to spin things. Fox brought on Doug Burgum, Trump's interior secretary, who started bragging about how many reporters were in press room. That was their big show of strength. Really? We have never seen so many members of the press before. What does the even mean? Roll the clip.
Well, President Trump at the press room at the White House today, potentially an all-time White House American record for most number of press that showed up. The press from around the world, the press that covers this, they live in D.C.
Then they trotted out mega Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who said, "There's no one I can think of better to meet Vladimir Putin in Alaska than Donald Trump." Honestly, Lindsey, what a sellout move. What exactly do Putin and Trump have on you? Roll the clip.
I can't think of a better person on the planet to put in the room with Putin other than Trump. He has a relationship with President Putin, which is a good thing. But the reason Putin is in Alaska is because President Trump announced he was going to sell weapons to Europe to help Ukraine, and that rattled Putin. But he put a 50% tariff, President Trump did, on India for buying Russian oil. He went after the second largest purchaser of Russian oil that keeps the war machine going in Russia, India, with a 50% tariff. That's why Putin's going to Alaska. Peace through strength.
Then they wheel out applause from the pause. Disgraced former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who promptly takes a swab at California Governor Gavin Newsom. McCarthy said if Newsom tries to push a ballot initiative to gerrymander California and if Texas gerrymander its state unlawfully, I do not think California has the votes. He repeats it for emphasizes like that it made any truer. Roll this clip.
Not having Gavin.
You know what? The people get a vote on this. He doesn't just get to do this. And what he wants to do, after the people voted to change the California Constitution, he wants to go around those people and give himself more power. If he puts this on the ballot, I think the people of California are going to vote against this. You even see the nonpartisan groups that have come out against this already.
California Governor Gavin Newsom fired back. Oh no, better be careful. Kevin McCarthy, real pro at continuing votes. Newsom, quick. Then Fox ruled out Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who claimed the real issue is all the gerrymandering in California, Illinois, Massachusetts, and New York. They are the problem. Here in Texas, we cannot just unilaterally dress around. We have got to do what we have got to do. These mega Republicans are acting like sociopaths, portraying themselves the victims while they actually the perpetrators of unlawful conduct. Essentially say, well, they deserve it. Here's play the clip.
Well, of course, the last thing he wants to hear is that he's a hypocrite, which is exactly what it is. One thing that the Texas redistricting effort has exposed is how all of these large blue states have gerrymandered their states so dramatically. Look at California, look at Illinois, look at Massachusetts, look at New York. They have the worst examples of gerrymandering. Texas is not like that.
Then they bring out Jeanine Pirro, once a Fox host, now somehow the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., because that's the dystopian mess Donald Trump has turned this country into. Pirro, back on Hannity, declare, you know what? It's time to just get rid of all the criminals and it's time to make criminals accountable. That's what we have got to do here. Play the clip.
And make no mistake, this president has a constitutional right to protect the people in this district and to make us safe. And until he came along, it was just going along and, oh yeah, maybe got a little better this year, but it's never good enough. It's never peaceful enough. And that's the problem with DC and these apologists who say, oh, we're not as bad as we used to be. Nonsense. It's time for us to get rid of crime and make criminals accountable. And that DC council, those laws that they they pass are absurd. They are defense-oriented, they are criminal-focused, and the criminals know it.
Once again, it's worth pointing out that Washington, D.C. crime rate is at a 30-year low. Donald Trump himself has admitted this in recent press conference, and Cash Patel reiterated yesterday that violent crime is down. It's also important to note that red state and red cities actually have significantly higher crime rate than DC. But of course, we already knew that. This is just Trump indulging his authoritarian fantasies, using them as pretext to punish blue states while distracting from the action file and his mysterious economic policies that have wrecked the US economy. Then Fox rules out Congressman Greg Steube, who says, you know what? We had never even be in the situation of Donald Trump had won last time. This is all Biden fault. Biden. We're going to whine about Biden all the time. Here, play the clip.
We wouldn't be in the circumstance if President Trump would have won the last election and Biden wasn't president. We wouldn't be where we are today.
Then they bring in Pete Hegseth. Seriously, what is this guy on? Watch him for 5 seconds and you will see the law at completely random moments, even when nothing is remotely funny. The man come across like a totally unhinged, mentally unstable psychopath. Just watch. Every time I see him, I am like, yo, you are genuinely not okay. You are not okay. Here is discussing Trump meeting with Putin casually, saying there's going to be land swap, a little sweepy. I am sitting there thinking, this is one of the most demented, deranged individual I have seen ever. And this guy had access to nuclear codes. We're not talking about a failed Fox with a background full of red flags. Here's play the clip.
We're in the strength side of the peace through strength business, but on the negotiating side, there's going to be, could be land swaps. There's going to be concessions. No one's going to be happy, but if anybody can do it, it's going to be President Trump.
Are you going to be there?
I don't know. We'll see what my calendar looks like. Possibly.
Well, can you call us when you find out the information?
We'll know.
Oh my gosh. Then they bring on RFK Jr., who decided to respond to Dr. Jerome Adams, a respected scientist and former US Surgeon General, whose entire controversial statement was simply that cutting funding for vaccine research is a bad idea.
The Health and Human Services Secretary faces criticism over significant workforce reductions at the CDC and announced cuts in federal funding of mRNA vaccine development. Among the critics, Jerome Adams, who served as Surgeon General during the first Trump administration's rapid deployment of COVID vaccines through Operation Warp Speed.
People are going to die because we're cutting short funding for this technology.
I would say he's misinformed and that he's not reading the scientific literature. We should not be targeting upper-level respiratory infections with this.
Here's mega Republican Congressman Scott Perry with his take. Roll the clip.
This thing's going to end, and it's going to end under President Trump's watch, and it's going to end because President Trump is going to put the smackdown on Vladimir Putin, and it's about time.
Do they actually believe that? Let's head back to mega Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Here, what he had to say. Roll the clip.
How do you respond?
Well, she's showing up. Yeah, she's showing up to a gunfight without any bullets. She acts like she can take some action. It requires a constitutional amendment in New York, and they're incapable of doing anything right now. What Texas is doing, we are ensuring that the people of our state are going to be represented by members of Congress that share their values, as opposed to people who are wanting open borders, people who want men and women's sports, people who fight back against our law enforcement officers. We're not going to be bound by these leftist ideologues in the United States Congress. Right here in the state of Texas, we're going to draw lines that are fully representative of the people of our state.
Back to Laura Ingraham. Here's what she had to say to Hegseth. Roll the clip.
The question of martial law keeps getting raised by the left, that Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, they want to impose martial law as authoritarians would.
Mm-hmm.
To that you say?
To that I say, look at Los Angeles. They said the exact same thing. Oh, look, 4,000 troops, California National Guard. Oh, look, the Marines. You can't put in the Marines. What? They were the troops available to ensure that we de-escalated the situation and didn't allow other lawbreakers to say, look, it's wide open. We can do whatever we want in these sanctuary cities. I was told, oh, you're going to lock up political opponents. You're going to go after Democrats, yada, yada. It's the same stuff every time, mischaracterizing our intentions. The intentions of this president is to establish law and order using legal and lawful and constitutional means, which he completely has. And you know what? You know why they don't like him? He's got the guts to do it. He's got the guts to say, I'm going to federalize the police that don't work. I'm going to bring in the National Guard. I'm going to bring in federal marshals. I'm going to bring in the park police.
How long will that be?
Then he implied the military would remain in Washington, D.C., essentially, permanently, turning it into a fully militarized zone. Roll this clip.
He's got the guts to say, I'm going to federalize the police that don't work. I'm going to bring in the National Guard. I'm going to bring in federal marshals. I'm going to bring in the park police.
How long will that be?
Control the,
How
who
long?
knows? How long? What is the?
Well, it costs money, right?
Sure,
It costs money, and the question is, are you there for a year? Are you there for 6 months? And when the troops pull out, what happens?
I would call this conditions based. I would say it's a situation where we're here to support law enforcement. And the more we can free them up to do their job, the more effective they can be, the more we can work. I mean, this isn't my realm, but the justice system to make sure people who are arrested are actually locked up. That's why the president's talking about cashless bail in sanctuary cities. If you're illegal here in D.C., that's going to be a problem. So all of these things that apply to law and order are front and center for us. And I don't know, weeks, months, what will it take? That's the president's call. But we're going to be there for him to execute as swiftly as possible.
Here's Hegseth again, one more time.
So just like we did in Los Angeles, alongside our federal law, we took a lot of criticism for 4,000 troops, 700 Marines. You know what we didn't get? There was no summer of love in 2020. In 2025, there was a summer of law enforcement. And we quelled the protests of the attacks on ICE officers. We're going to help get D.C. under control by working with local officials.
Here's Lindsey Graham again, once more.
It's hard to make America great again when the capital of America is the most dangerous place on the planet to work, live, and visit. Well done, Mr. President. You're going to do for D.C. what you did for the border. I'm going to create a D.C. security fund to allow the president to hire more police officers, more technology to make D.C. A safe place to live, work, and visit. Well done, Mr. President. I want to help you.
Just to be clear, CNN put together a solid supercut of Donald Trump's past statement claiming that crime in Washington, D.C. was down. Here, roll the clip.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
No, Eddie's very talented. Crime is down in Washington, D.C. Street crime, violent crime by 25%. And people have seen, they've noticed a big difference.
And the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priority.